Hey, what's going on, everyone? And welcome back to my channel. Give me a moment here. Just give me one moment here. Just make sure this is broadcasting to YouTube, then I will hop in. All right. This weekend is the state championship, the battle for the Paul Bunyan Trophy. Let's go blue. Hey, what's going on, everyone? And welcome back to Big Discussions 76 Sports. My name is Dr. Anwar Youssef Dunbar. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you to everyone who subbed to the channel recently. Yeah, if you are not subbed, please consider subscribing to the channel. So yeah, this is a big week for Michigan football. This is Michigan State week, the battle for the Paul Bunyan Trophy, and the state championship. I think in Florida it's between three teams, and Michigan it's between two teams. And just a brief recap before I jump into my little monologue here. Let's see. So yeah, we know that uh, the Wolverines' opponent this week is the Michigan State Spartans. Little brother, or also known as Moo U or Cow U. That game was up in East Lansing at Spartan Stadium in 3 days. The kickoff is at 7:30. So this is a night game, the first of two. I think the Purdue game is kicking off at 7 o'clock next Saturday, but this is another night game. So yeah, so when last we saw our heroes defeated the Washington Huskies at the Big House 24-7. That was a good win. As Joel Klatt said, Michigan football looked like Michigan football in that game, and yeah, it was a good win for the team, and the team was rewarded by the AP by being placed back in the top 25, even though they're hanging on just by a thread there. So Michigan has been rewarded by being put into the top 25. Michigan is number 25 in the top 25. Michigan started at number 12, I think, when the season began. But I think the question now is, can Michigan ascend with the way they played last weekend? Because I think they have some things to fix on defense, but on offense, I think they've found a formula. Even though Justice Haynes went out, Jordan Marshall stepped in, got all the majority of the snaps, aside from the freshman kid Jasper Parker. And Jordan Marshall ran hard. He didn't hit any home runs, but he got those yards methodically, piece by piece, snap by snap, and yeah. So Jordan Marshall was effective. Bryce hit the tight ends, and he was able to hit the wide receivers. I mean, connect with the tight ends and the wide receivers. And even though Evan Link went out, Blake Frazier came in and filled in for him very, very effectively. So the offense looked good last week, and Michigan was rewarded by being placed in the top 25 once again, even though they're down at number 25. The question is, can they make it back up into the top 12 once the college football playoff starts generating its rankings? Shout out to the Snowman. If you guys haven't subscribed to the Snowman, if you don't know about the Snowman, he is a sports aficionado. He knows a lot more about sports than I do. Corey Banks, thank you for being here. The Big Brother, thank you for being here. He says, "Go Blue." He says, "Those who stay." Maniac, Go Blue Maniac. He's been putting out some fire predictions and reactions to the Michigan games for the season. So he says, "Go Blue." Hashtag Let's talk about it. You know who it is? It's the Maniac. See, I got your stick down. He says, "Keep Paul home." That's right. The Big Brother says, "Time to take over East Landfill." Corey says, "The Maniac." Before I finish my monologue, I will say that Spartan Stadium. I did get to go once. That was during the Revenge Tour season. I didn't go all of the years I was a graduate student at the University of Michigan. I'm an alumni, by the way. That's why I decided to go with the Michigan Life Sciences T-shirt tonight, because I am an alumni. I spent 6 years in Ann Arbor. Okay, I saw Tom Brady's last year. I saw Drew Henson's last year. I saw Lloyd Carr's last 5 to 6 years. Okay, so I was there for the comeback win against Michigan State. I was there for the TJ Duckett, the Jeff Smoker TJ Duckett clock controversy. I was there for the coming of Troy Smith and Jim Tressel. So I saw a lot of stuff when I was a graduate student, man. And each day in lab, it got to a point where we lived and died on what the team was doing. We listened to the Ticket 1050 in the mornings, and we listened to the Ticket 1050 in the afternoons. And speaking of which, I need to get Dennis 50 in back here. But anyway, I have a long history with this rivalry. I tuned in 1999. Of course, it went way back before me, but that was Tom Brady's last year. That was the Wolverines went up to Spartan Stadium, which isn't as an impressive facility as the Big House. So, Big Brother, this is an accurate assessment. East Landfill, that is. Yeah, that was the Revenge Tour season. I went up to East Lansing. I wanted to go in there at least once just to see it. And it's an older facility. It's not as big and built out and luxurious as the Big House. But I started tuning into this state championship in 1999. That was Tom Brady's last year. You know that Lloyd Carr couldn't decide on who the quarterback should be, Tom or Drew Henson, so he did the platoon system. That cost Michigan the game against Michigan State. That Michigan State team had Plaxico Burress and TJ Duckett and Bill Burke at quarterback and Nick Saban as the coach before he went on to the SEC. And then Michigan pretty much dominated for my duration in Ann Arbor. Bobby Williams took over the Spartans team, and then John L. Smith, he took over. Lloyd Carr dominated them, and then once Lloyd Carr retired, we know that Rich Rod took over. Michigan State hired Mark D'Antonio. He dominated Rich Rod. I think maybe aside from one or two wins, Brady Hoke was dominated by Mark D'Antonio. Coach Harbaugh, when he came on, aside from the Blake O'Neill 2015 game, Coach Harbaugh pretty much dominated Michigan State in 2017. We had the quarterback instability with John O'Korn and Brandon I can't think of his name. But Wilton Speight got hurt that year. Michigan State beat us 13-10 in the Big House. And it was a rainy game, and Michigan just needed one more touchdown, and they would have beaten Michigan State. But they couldn't get it done. And then from then on, you had the COVID year. That was a weird year. Michigan State came in and beat us. But for the most part, Coach Harbaugh dominated Mark D'Antonio, ran Mark D'Antonio out of town. So for the most part, Michigan has dominated the series. And there are a few years where Michigan State will jump up and have the upset. But for the most part, Michigan has dominated this series over the years, and hopefully this won't be one of those years. So I have a lot of history with that, with this rivalry and this matchup. Okay, so that being said, the prediction for this game, Maniac. I'm gonna pin the looks like you might have beaten Marmar here. I'm gonna pin the link to the chat. You want to come up and let us know what you think. So the prediction is for Michigan to win this game by 2 touchdowns. Okay, so the Wolverines are favored to beat the Spartans by 2 touchdowns. Okay, and I'm going to say that yeah, if Michigan, hold on, StreamYard is doing its thing. All right, so yeah, Michigan is favored to win this game by 2 touchdowns. And my opinion is if Michigan plays the way it played last week, Michigan should win this game easily. Okay. People have been lining up our teams over this week, Michigan versus Michigan State. And I posted that in my community tab. And someone posted on X the quarterback comparison between Aiden Childs and Bryce Underwood. And on paper, in terms of stats, Michigan should win this game. I'm going to pin the link to the chat. I want to go over Michigan State's last game. And then if anyone else wants to come up, Maniac, if you're there and you feel like being social tonight, you will be, I will welcome you up with open arms. I'm sure Marmar's going to roll through at some point. I'm sure Dom's going to roll through at some point. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. But let me go over Michigan State's last game. Let me pin this to the chat here as soon as YouTube boots up. All right, so this is pinned to the chat. There is the StreamYard link. All right, so Michigan State's last game. Michigan State, hold on, Maniac. Give me a second here. Michigan State, their last game was against the Indiana Hoosiers, who Signetti has them on fire once again this season. Let's see, where is it? Oh, there it is, Indiana versus Michigan State. So Indiana defeated Michigan State 38-13. Okay, I'm going to run through this briefly because Maniac is chomping at the bit backstage. Yeah, so Michigan State generated 367 total yards versus Indiana's 464, so Indiana outgained them. For Michigan State, 293 of those yards were through the air. 74 of those yards were on the ground. Michigan State had an average of 5.9 yards per game versus Indiana's 8.3. Michigan State had 19 first downs to Indiana's 24. Michigan State was 5 of 14 on third down. They were 3 for 4 on fourth down. They ran more plays than Indiana. They allowed Michigan State allowed 4 sacks. Hopefully, Wink doesn't overblitz, but this shows that you can get pressure on Aiden Childs and sack him. They punted 2 times versus Indiana's no punts. Indiana didn't punt, and Michigan State had 6 penalties for 46 yards. They held the ball longer than Indiana, but just the stats bear out. Everybody's been posting the stats. The stats bear out that Michigan should win. Michigan should win this game, just based upon the strengths of our 2 teams and just the way our teams are playing. Michigan should win this game. Stranger things have happened in the past, but my prediction is if Michigan plays the way they played last week, Michigan should win this game going away. Let me bring up the Maniac. Maniac, hold on.
Hey, the good doctor, what's going on, brother? Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for being here.
No, anytime, my brother. It's that time of the week again. Michigan football, but this one is a little different because it's a rivalry game. But like I mentioned, the good doctor on my preview video, this rivalry has become toxic in many ways. On the field, you've seen in the past Michigan State players take dirty shots at Michigan players, especially they key players, Denard Robinson. Um, we've seen a Michigan player assaulted by multiple Michigan State players in the tunnel in 22, a game in which I attended, and it's just been bad blood. And this is like a toxic rivalry. And going into this game, Michigan has something to play for. Michigan State doesn't. This is their national championship Saturday. So I expect them to play hard. I'm not gonna say they're gonna play dirty. I don't want to say that, but that's something to look out for, right? Because if they are, we already know who's gonna be the target. That's gonna be Bryce Underwood. So I'll be looking very closely, and I also expect our players to do the same. To play a clean game. But like you mentioned, the good doctor, this is a game on paper. Michigan shouldn't have much issues with this team, but it's we've known that Michigan, we haven't been a consistent team, right? From week to week, we either start fast and kind of die down, or start slow and then pick it up. This is a game where I want to punch them in the mouth early and not let the foot off the gas. I want to go into halftime with a minimum of 24 points. We should have a minimum. This team in the last four games, the good doctor, 45 to USC, 38 to Nebraska, 38 to UCLA, 38 to Indiana. It's about 40 points a game in this four-game losing streak. Defense is very bad. Buy it now, Aiden Childs. He's an athlete. I mean, to me, he's quite overrated, but he still can beat you with his legs in certain plays. So defense is gonna have to play discipline, gap discipline, break down, tackle, take the right angles. And again, what we seen last week was the defense was tackling as a team, gang tackle. Got to do the same thing. We know they have a dog at wide receiver, man, regardless. And Nick Marsh, man, the guy, we all want him over in Ann Arbor. Man, it will be great to see him embrace, get together. But, he's a dog, so he's someone to look out for. But after that, there's really nothing they have. Their O-line is very bad. They can't run the ball for nothing. And that's been Michigan's strength this whole year on defense, with the exception of the USC game. Michigan has held every team's running back to under 100 yards. So we're going to make them one-dimensional. And Aiden Childs, the good doctor, on top of that, has been sacked 18 times. So what does that say? That say that there's going to be a lot of opportunity for the D-line to feast, to, get a couple of sacks, or have constant pressure on Aiden Childs where, we make them force bad throws and, can create turnovers, something our defense has been doing a phenomenal job of this year. We've caused a turnover in every single game this year, even in the ones we lost. So I expect that streak to continue this Saturday. And then on the offense, we want to continue to show balance, right? I think last week was the first time, with the exception of the Central Michigan game, where we saw balance. We saw um, nice amount of passing, nice amount of running. And hopefully that continues Saturday, and Bryce, continues to play hot. And I'm going to assume it's going to be Jordan Marshall again this week. They're probably going to rest Hayes, because and then after this game, we get a bye, and I expect him to be good to go for the Purdue game once Michigan comes out the bye. But yeah, I think Andrew Marsh continues to look good. I think McCulley has a good game. I think the tight ends are getting involved again. How much? We don't know. We'll see. But I'm going to expect this offense to continue to roll. But I need 30-plus points in this game, the good doctor. I really do. And I'm going to go, I believe I predicted around 34-13 Michigan in this game.
Okay, you know what? We got Marmar coming in. He's gonna come in hot. You know, Justice was out. He's our home run hitter, probably our team MVP at this point. But I like seeing Jordan Marshall run and just pound that defense for like 5 yards and 6 yards and 4 yards and just I liked seeing that. I thought that was Michigan football. I thought that was
Yeah, he's
taking time off the clock and just beating the
yeah,
defense
he
up. I thought that
correct.
was different
What's
from the
up,
game.
Maniac?
What's going on, Mama? Yeah, and
I got hey
we
Maniac.
yeah.
When you get a chance, could you call me, please? I got
All right,
some unsettling news.
all right. All right, cool. Jordan, Jordan Marshall, he runs very angry. I love that. He's not a back that you're just gonna take him down with first contact, and that's good, man. That's the kind of backs we like. He kind of reminds me of Mike Hart a little bit. That the aggressive running. Mike Hart was small, just like Marshall, but he was not easy to tackle. So the beauty about that is that we have a two-headed monster, Justin Hayes and Marshall. So both backs don't have to take a beating week in, week out. So we don't know the status of Justice Hayes. Hopefully he could play. I would love for him to play, but if he doesn't, I don't think we all gonna be too upset. But I do want to know, what is the status on Ernest Hausman, if anyone knows.
Marmar, you got anything? Okay, looks like he might have froze there.
Yeah, I think.
Oh,
Oh,
okay,
there he is.
yeah. Hold on,
There
let
he
me
is.
do something real quick. All right, yeah, yeah. You hear me?
Yes.
Let me refresh this real quick.
All right.
Okay. I have not heard anything about Ernest Hausman myself.
Okay.
Uh, did he get pretty banged up in the last game?
So he got kind of rolled up. It didn't look,
I remember
it
that.
didn't look bad, but he left the game and didn't return. I mean, the game was well in hand by the time he got hurt, but I just want to make sure that it's not nothing long term. I don't think it is, but it
Bro,
would
what is
just be
going
good
on?
to have an update.
Okay, Marmar, I can see you and hear you, man.
I'm having issues. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, it's what Sharon Moore said. Okay, what Sharon Moore said. It's like I'm getting an echo. Hold on, let me refresh my phone. Sorry.
All right, all right. It's Marmar's having technical difficulties here. We'll wait till
Yeah,
he get
but
back.
but Maniac. So going back to what you said, man, I think if they can get on a roll and start stringing some of these wins together, uh, I think that'll be good. I
I
think
don't
I
Yeah.
know
think they
why I
have
keep
they
doing
have the
this.
formula now. Go ahead.
So, so
You good, Marmar?
Sharon Moore spoke on Hosman injury, so he's going to be all right. I think he'll play this weekend.
Okay. All right. No, just wanted to know, just um
And
because
Evan Link is out for the next couple games, but
yeah, yeah, that I heard. That because initially it looked like that his injury was probably gonna be season ending. Whenever
and
players parted off in the
Yep.
middle of the field, it's never a good thing. But the fact that we're gonna get him back, that's definitely great news for us, you know. Let me ask you guys this. If let's just say if Michigan State was to win this game, what do you think would it take for them to beat a team like Michigan?
I think Wink would have to call a bad game, do a lot of zero
Oh,
blitzes, a lot of Jay Sean would have to continue not setting the edge.
Yeah.
And I think I don't know. Michigan would have to go away from what they've started building over the last, just the offense was balanced, man. It was balanced last week, so they would really have to go away from that. Michigan State would have to really play out of their minds. So I think those two things would have to happen. Michigan would have to go away from what's made it successful on offense, and Wink would have to call a very bad game that would allow Aiden Childs and those two receivers. Johnny is pretty bullish on those two receivers, man. And so Wink would have to call something that would allow those guys to flourish.
Yeah, all right. No, I mean, makes sense. And also, turnovers, taking care of the ball. Something Bryce has been great at this year. And I mean, the offense in general, we haven't really been turning the ball over like that. So I do like that, especially for a team that's this young in Michigan. So that's what you want to see in a young team, man. A young team taking care of the ball is something to look forward to moving forward. The reason I say that is because this is college football, man, and we've seen wild things happen, right? Crazy things. That's why I'm saying it's important that Michigan jumps on Michigan State early and keeps their foot on their neck, because I can see a point where we up 14-0, gentlemen, right? All right, here we go. Here we gonna blow them out. You go get a sandwich. You go do a quick errand. You come back, it's 17-9. And you like, wait a minute, how did we get here? So we need to see Michigan beat them killers. You got to go on when you on the road, anytime on the road, but especially against a rival, and you're better than them. You got to go out there and not play with your fool. Go out there. Let them know from the beginning, bro, it's going to be a long day for y'all. Y'all not winning this game. Don't think about it. Just hope that you guys could score this game. That's the kind of the mentality you want them. Because the last time we was there, it was 49-0. Hopefully we could keep the shutout streak in East Lansing. That would be great. But
so the thing I want to address and talk about is, I was watching the Indiana-Michigan State game this past weekend, and I realized something. Aiden Childs is their only hope in this game. Indiana shut down everything else. I'm not saying Michigan defense is going to do that, but they still had that work mentality. Hillman and Rob Moore, I think they learned a lesson from being disruption to the team. So they can come back to contribute, and hope they have the same mindset that the defense had on this past Saturday. Also, a wrinkle, Lamar Morgan has been helping with the game plan, because if you remember, before the 24 season, Jesse Minter, co-signed Lamar Morgan as being Michigan defensive coordinator before they went to get Wink, because Lamar was down at Louisiana. He was the defensive coordinator, and they had an all right defense. It may not be in top 25, but it was in the 30s. So that's good from being Louisiana. But he also know the Raven Tree too, because I think Lamar is from the Raven Tree, because he was with Jesse Minter down at Vanderbilt. So that's good. That's why the defense looked the way it did. Also, they sat down and had Payne talked about it today, where like a family, when y'all sit down and y'all have them hard talks to move forward as a family in a unit and move in unison. So that's what happened after the USC game. Brandon Hillman was being a disruption in the locker room, pointing fingers, blaming people. But Brandon Hillman, remember, when you point one finger, 3 is pointing back at you, because you didn't have the best game either. So you can't go out here blaming others
Yeah.
Because this is a team game. This is not an eye game. And so I think they nipped that in the bud. And another thing that stood out with me with Sharon Moore is that when Jasper Parker ran to the out of bounds and he came back to the sideline, Sharon Moore told him he need to cut that upfield because you never know. You just use your power a little bit. You never know if you slip off somebody or you pull somebody in your offensive line to push you into the end zone. I mean, that's freshman mistakes, but I think he'll correct that in the next time he get the opportunity to get the ball. And to touch on Maniac's point, Marshall is a hard runner. Marshall is a dog. Marshall is getting better through the season. So the question I asked Anwar last night on the phone, I'm gonna ask you, Go Blue, is that would you rather have a team be so polished throughout the first 6-8 games, or do you want your team to be developed by the end of the season to where nobody wants to play them because everybody is working as a unit? The freshmen then grew up, the sophomore then grew up, the juniors then got better, and then the seniors are doing what they're supposed to be doing because that's what they're here for, because this is last time. Why not go out with a Super Bowl bang? So that's the question I posed to you, Maniac. Would you rather have them be a well-oiled machine in the beginning of the season or by the end of the season?
No, I mean, that one obvious to me, man. It's the season. The season is not
it's a marathon.
Off the gate, and if I'm winning the race in the beginning, it doesn't mean I'm winning the race again. So yes, without a doubt, I want to see my team at the end of the season hitting a stride, hitting on as a cohesive unit, and doing what we want them to see. And what we want to see is execution, and we're starting to get that. Now, the only question we as Michigan fans ask is, can we do it on a consistent basis, right? I think that's been one of the biggest problems for this team, is that we haven't been consistent from week to week. We look good one week, we look and the next week, and we lose. And when we lose, we look bad losing. So, we understand that 5-2 is where a lot of us expected this team to be, based on USC or a young team. But this team could be anybody in the country if we play their A game. And I mean that sincerely. Is going to win a national championship this year? Absolutely not. We won't. But what we need to carry some momentum going into next season. And we're playing a true freshman. I mean, that's gonna only help this team moving forward, right? And it's a beautiful thing. But I'm glad you brought up Lamar Morgan, Marmar, because it's rumors swirling that, regardless of the season plays out, Michigan is most likely to move on from Wink Martindale and is looking to promote Lamar Morgan to their DC, which to me, I'll take it, because from one, he's within the coaching staff, right? He's young. These players react to him. They like him. So why not? And he's been recruiting at a high level in the secondary. He's getting a lot of dogs, man. So if that's the case, I'll take it, man. I'll be okay with that. Will you guys be okay with Lamar Morgan being the DC next season, if that's the case, or you would like Michigan to do nation for that position?
I will. Hey, listen. So, if you paid attention to how the defense played, it reminded me of a Jussie Mentor defense that played on this past Saturday, because Wink was sending linebackers, but they also, when they stopped sending the linebackers, you see how that worked out for us. So that reminded me of the 2023 season and 22 season when they wasn't sending the linebackers as much, because Mentor didn't blitz a lot. So he just played coverage and played a base defense. So when you play the base defense and let your linebackers cook in the middle, that's the results you're going to get. So that's the type of that. Lamar Morgan is more like Jesse Minter than he is Mike McDonald and Wink Martindale. That's why you seen what you seen on Saturday. So yeah, I would take Lamar because he knows the system. He knows the system in and out, and he knows what y'all have been talking about, Maniac and Anwar and Johnny and Mays and TJ and John. Stop sending the linebacker. You don't have to blitz the linebacker. See, what you noticed in the game, when you didn't send the linebackers to blitz, the pressure came from the front four. Moore was eating. TJ Guy was getting in there. Pierce was getting in there. Benny was getting in there. Even Cameron Brandt, Dominic Nichols, all of them was getting to the quarterback. They was pressuring them. We held them. So Maniac gonna love this when I say this. So I'm gonna bring the boy up, Garrison. So Garrison gloated about when Ohio State beat Washington, but you didn't beat them until the fourth quarter, just like we did. Well, we started that ass whooping in the third quarter with 1 minute and 35 seconds left when Sullivan got that interception. Then we played keep away and shut you down. And so in that Washington-Ohio State game, Washington moved the ball up and down the field for the first 3 quarters with will. They couldn't stop it. The only thing Washington can do is score in the end zone. Okay, they scored 1 touchdown on this. They didn't get to the red zone like they did against Ohio State against us. Oh, we held Williams to 19 negative rushing yards. Oh, Ohio State did that same thing. He had negative 19 rushing yards in that game against Ohio State. But they played better against Ohio State. And if you listen to Sharon Moore after the halftime when he was talking to Jenny Taft, he pointed that out. Well, Washington played the number 1 team the best throughout the whole season. The only team that played Ohio State to the best. So that tells me, that tells me a thing here. Sharon Moore is paying attention, and he got a game plan for them boys when they come November. The end of November, when they come to Ann Arbor, he got a plan for them. He has a plan. And now that he focused, just like he said at this press conference, you see I wore my jacket today. That's what he said. You see I wore it. And then somebody brought up the memes. And he said, I heard about them. But we still going to go to work. That's what I need. Yeah, I was going around saying, fuck Sharon. Yes. Until you prove me otherwise. Because I'm the one that been sticking my neck out about you since you took the job. I had hotel managers laughing at me. I had people throughout Ohio laughing at me. You Sharon Moore, the guy? Yes. I stood 10 toes. And then when I seen these 2 games against Oklahoma and USC and Maniac, I was thinking about this the other day at work. You were right. You called both of them games L's. I didn't want to see it because I believed in Sharon Moore in his second year, but you called that. You called it straight up. You said our 2 losses on this season will be USC and Oklahoma. Yeah. And it happened. But it took but that happening took us to scrutinize the leadership. And nobody can tell me that these people are not listening to us on these podcasts. You can't sit up here and tell me that none of these coaches are paying attention to the Michigan podcast. Nobody can tell me that because everything we talked about, they did on Saturday.
They the good doctor, man, he's connected to Charlotte, but he has ties to Sharon and the coaching staff.
Thanks.
Yeah. Got the numbers right here.
So good doctor, let me get your thoughts on that. Lamar Morgan, who's currently our secondary coach. If Wink was to part ways with Michigan after the season, regardless how the season plays out, are you okay with Michigan promoting him from within, or you rather Michigan do a nationwide search?
Yeah, I'm fine with promoting Lamar Morgan from within. I mean, I think the whole intent with hiring Wink was to preserve that Baltimore Ravens scheme. But
Yes.
Wink has been running it differently than how Jesse Minter ran it. Jesse Minter was about disguising the coverages and
Yes.
not being so blitz happy. And it's funny, I like Joel Klatt's
You wa-
commentary.
you
He
you
said
watched the video?
he says yeah, I did, and he says
I sent it to you.
when you send when you
Did I
send
send it to you, Maniac? I gotta send it to you. You're gonna like what Joel Klatt talking about. I know we don't
well,
trust Joel Klatt.
well, I like when he says
Yeah.
when you send all those blitzers, you're vacating parts of the field, and the quarterback just has to find those open spaces in the field. And I think that's when Wink gets blitz happy, that just leaves room for those completions and those catch and runs like we saw against USC. So long story short, I'm good with Lamar being promoted. He knows the game, and I think we need a smart play caller back there.
Yeah,
Yeah. Absolutely.
I like Lamar. I think he'll call it like I think he'll call the game like Jesse Minter because he understood what Jesse Minter was doing more than Wink do. Wink wanna run the defense like an NFL defense, and I know he want to get them guys ready for the next level, but you have to, get in there and teach. You can't just be coaching from the sideline all the time. You got to get in there and get in there with them. And I believe that's good coaching when you up there with them and you showing them the way how to execute. So I always use the reference of Coach Boone from Remember the Titans when he set everybody down and told them, "I want perfection on these plays. I want perfection." Because it ain't no point to practice if you ain't gonna perfect it in the game. It's no point. And that's what we talk about executing. Perfection. Perfect these plays. Because football is simple as 1, 2, 3. You block, you open up a hole for the running back. The thing I dislike about McCauley, he don't break off routes to help out Bryce. I like a receiver that can break off a route. Like Jamar Chase, he don't take that if the cornerback is playing off of Jamar Chase, he'll make sure he break off that route. Just to be and he be open. And I think that's what lacks in McCulley. But I like what I've seen with Andrew Marsh. I like what I've seen with the two tight ends. And that's another thing I have an issue with Sharon. That I understand that Marvin Klein and Hogan Hansen had earned it because of their seniority. But what's his name? Nelly, and then Tonelli. Yeah, Tonelli and Marshall showed that, hey, we got a say in this too.
Yeah.
They killed,
right?
Yep, they killed the game. I was like, where this been all year?
Correct. And it just tells you how deep Michigan is at the tight end position. And mind you, I don't know what's going on. I'm pretty sure he's going to transfer at the end of the year, but Brady Preexcorn, he was one of the best tight ends coming out of high school. There was a lot of hype around this kid.
I think
and
he hurt.
we were happy to have him in Ann Arbor. Yeah, he's hurt, but I've heard other things that he might be leaving. So, look, man, at the end of the day, I wish these kids nothing but luck if they transfer out. May the best player win. I mean, earn the position. I mean, it just shows how deep we are. So it was good to see, Tonelli and Zach Marshall get out there and make big plays, man, and big moments for this team. So if Klein can't go, if Hogan can't go, we know that we have tight ends that's capable of getting the job done.
And that's true. And if Priest going low, we go for Olish from Penn State. He ain't staying. He only went there for James Franklin and his dad. Well, his dad gonna have to suck it up now.
Yeah, and they were saying no. On top of that, there was like 2 rumors going into that recruitment. One, the hammer. I think they were nervous about that, and also money. I heard like he was kind of asking for something that was kind of out their range. Like Michigan was like, nah, we're not trying to give you this much, and it
You
was
ain't
like, all
even
right, so
prove
then
yourself.
yeah, so it's fine.
Who's the
Listen,
tight end we got coming in now? He's out of Idaho or Wyoming, and he's a dog.
Got his name. He's tall. We got we listen. Michigan is a tight end school, man. A running back school, a O-line school. We trying to be an everything school, right?
Yeah, everything.
When you're an everything school, what happens is you're competing for natties year in and year out. And with Bryce, man, when I see Bryce play, and I think both of you can agree with this, he looks like a veteran at times. Like, damn, this guy's been playing college football for years. And then you're like, oh, wait a minute. No, he's only 18 years old. This dude still got his Pampers on. He still got diapers. You know, next season, listen, gentlemen, if Bryce can end this season at 10-2, which will mean he beat Ohio State, forget about it. His stock is going to even skyrocket. That means we'll go to the playoffs. Whatever happens there happens. And then, it's on to next season. And the goal is to get him some weapons. At least 2 more receivers, man. I know we got some dogs coming in. Jalen Powell, to me, he's going to be a freshman. Is going to get a lot of playing time at wide receiver. But we still got to go on that portal and get an elite receiver, someone who's established, someone who has been doing it for a year or 2 years. Because listen, next year I'm trying to win a natty. That's gonna be my expectations for this team moving into next season. Natty time. Right, second year, we got to start thinking natty. We can't have Rich Rod, Brady Hoke mentality. Well, give it another year. Man, after another year, we need to do it now. So we only got Bryce for 3 years, man. So we wanna cook next season, his second and third year. But it's gonna be interesting how it plays out. But hopefully, which I don't think is gonna happen. Nick Marsh, man, he transfers out and play his last season in Michigan. Because honestly, he's just wasting his talent at Michigan State. He really is. Do you think that, good doctor, that Nick Marsh right now at Michigan State, although we know he's a dog, we know he's one of the better wide receivers in the Big Ten currently, but what has he been doing this year? Yes, he has 5 receiving touchdowns, but they've been quiet ones. There's just nothing.
That's
really.
I just said that the Anwar last night, that Nick Marsh ain't really producing. Because they don't have a good O-line. So week 3, they then lost 2 O-linemen. They lost they lost the running back. They lost a couple of defensive players. So they've been bruised up. Their best game was against USC.
Yeah, I mean,
right. They put up 30.
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't a kid want to win? I mean, he wants to position himself for the NFL draft like all the kids do, and the team just down the corridors having success. Yeah, why would you stay in a place that you can't win and show what you can do?
And he's from the state of Michigan, right? I mean, Bryce's state of Michigan.
Well, we ain't gonna need him next year because we got Zion Robinson coming in. We got a couple other boys coming in. We ain't gonna need Nick. Nick can stay where he at. He had the opportunity to come this year, and he chose not to. So
the reason you want to one like Magic, Andrew Marsh, and Nick Marsh on the outside
that you
next
had a
year.
Marsh attack.
Yeah.
What would we?
Exactly.
Hey, Maniac. What would we call that though? It had to be something. And then you got that tight end with the nickname Moose. And then you got that they're gonna be yelling that throughout the stadium, Moose. And I know Moose and the that be in the chat gonna love that.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man, absolutely. But Mama, what do you before I head out and get back to my daddy duties? What are you looking for? What are you looking to see from Michigan this coming Saturday against Michigan State, man?
Well, what I'm looking for is what they build that they build off of. What happened to him?
Either he dropped or he I don't know.
So what I'm looking for is Michigan to capitalize on what they did against Washington. Can we well-oiled machine it to the point where it looked to be dominant? Because it looked good Saturday, but could we make that look dominant in this next game to where Aiden Childs is not getting anything off, or the run game is not popping? Will we make them one-dimensional? When we our defense is not having to use the linebackers and our cornerbacks are playing, on the receivers, getting picks, maybe a pick six. Jai Hill had a better game Saturday. People may disagree with me, but Trigger Hill had a better game. He didn't get beat, and he didn't bite on the double move.
Just bring them INTs in, man. That's my only.
Yeah. That's all you got to do is bring that in.
Especially when you got to pick six.
So that last interception by Odin, they ran that play twice, and I seen them run 2 times. They Washington run the same place twice. One they got positive yards, and then when they ran it again, they shut it down. So that tells me that you are adjusting mid in the end game and at halftime to pay attention to these things. And I think that with the spread is 14.5, and then the over under is 49.5. I think they cover. But like I said, I want to see the same thing that you did against Washington, but I want it to be better against Michigan State. I know Michigan State is going to give us our best, but again, they were supposed to get the opportunity that they had to beat us was last year.
Yeah.
And they didn't do that. Yeah. Because they came down. So this what happened. They came down, and then throughout after that first score they had, they didn't get nothing else until the end of the fourth quarter. I mean, till almost to the end of the fourth quarter when they scored the 17 point, 24-17. Well, we was already dominating them at that point in time, even with the team we had last year. I think this year's team is going to be bailed off because I think Justin Haynes is going to eat a lot in this game. You ain't got to run Justin, have him schedule plays in. But the schedule plays you have in, I think he's going to take them to the house, each every one of them. So if that's 8, if that's 5, reps that he get in that game, I think 4 of them go for long touchdowns.
Okay.
And that'll cement himself into the Heisman race.
Okay. So you're predicting he's a Heisman hopeful.
He is a Heisman hopeful.
You know what, Marmar? You're right. It's like always, man. You're right.
He is a Heisman hopeful because just imagine that he missed one game and then he makes up for that game because he's averaging about 120 yards a game. So if you double that up, you can have 240 yards against Michigan State. I believe that can happen We have a back that could do that, and I believe Jordan Marshall would eat too.
Yeah.
Jordan Marshall at least have 80 to 90, 80 to 100 yards in this game because Michigan State, I know they're going to bring our best, but we have been punched in the mouth twice already. So I think they're going to be better prepared for Michigan State's punch in the mouth than what we have showed up on the last 2 night games on the road.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be like a Michigan game because all the Michigan fans, you know how far East Lansing is from Ann Arbor?
Yeah,
it's not that far.
Yeah.
And a lot of Michigan fans going to be in there.
Yeah.
And that helps the team. It wasn't no Michigan fans at the USC game. And that was crazy.
Well, I like what Maniac said. The O line, the other players, they hopefully nobody does anything stupid. Tempers flare in that game. Hopefully, none of the Michigan State players take a cheap shot at Bryce. Hopefully the other players are on the lookout for that. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna say this, then I need to wind down, Marmar. What Michigan did last week, do it again, but do it better. Just do it again. I liked that role the offense went on. I like seeing the tight ends catch the balls. I like seeing Jordan Marshall get those hard chunk yards and move the pile. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see Donovan McCulley try to throw a wide receiver pass to Samaj. I don't want to see that again
at all.
I mean, maybe the reverse. Maybe Samaj throw it to him because he's a bigger receiver. But I don't want to see that again.
So they need to stop putting. It's time for O'Leary to come in.
Okay.
Because I think this is my thing. I think O'Leary will be a decoy. You throw O'Leary in there, and if you watch tape on O'Leary, they be like, "Damn, he catches everything in big games." In games, if you go watch all the David Warren highlights from last year, you would see his go-to guy was either Coastal Loveland or O'Leary, and O'Leary caught everything. People always talk about O'Leary can't catch in the spring game because that's a spring game. O'Leary, big game O'Leary. He a Buckeye killer. So why wouldn't you use that? That's what I'm saying. I want to see this. I want to see other receivers thrown in the game. See who can get separation.
Yeah. Shoot, who can hold on to the ball.
Hey, if something ain't going right, I want to see Jerome holding his coaches accountable and his players. It's your team and how you want it to run. That's how I want you to. That's what I want to see. But I think we have to be satisfied at 11:30 on Saturday night when we're doing the post game.
Okay.
And I want y'all to like, subscribe, and share. And make sure you hit the like button.
Yeah, please do.
This is big discussion. Sports 76. And y'all better know it. And the post game will be at 11 p.m.
Yeah, I'm gonna set it. I'll probably set it for when the game is over. It'll be 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock.
Yeah, about 11.
11.
Because it's on NBC, so you know how they like to run so many commercials.
Yeah.
Why do they do that, Anwar? They run so many commercials.
Marmar, Johnny Bacon talked about this in his books. They have the TV timeouts, so they have a person in there telling the referees when they can start the clock again, when they can start the game again. But they got to get those blocks of time in, play the music. In the stadium, you just hear the music, you hear the DJ playing, but they got to have the TV timeouts. So it just prolongs the game. But hey, man, you got anything else? It was an early one for me today, so you got anything else?
No, you good. I appreciate you.
Okay. Well, I'll talk to you probably offline and definitely on Saturday.
Yep, love, brother.
All right, go blue.
Go blue.
All right, everyone. Big discussion, 76 Sports and Marmar. So All right. I'm gonna wind this down. Hey, I didn't get a word from Sharon Moore. Just I got so excited. I didn't get a word from Sharon.
Really comes down to angles. The angles that we take, the pursuit angles that we take, and trusting those angles. There's so many examples as we go through it, and as we've gone through the tape, been through it many times of how we got to fix it, and players have been in numerous times already to look at it and fix it, and those are the big things we'll continue to attack as we go through the week.
That was Sharon Moore and his blue jacket, Jackson. See, it was an early morning. A little quick advertisement. Thank you to John Morris from State College, Pennsylvania. That John Morris was the first sale of my book here on this channel. I wrote a sports related book. Consider it as maybe a holiday gift for somebody in your network. If you like stories, it'll be a good book for you to read. If you know a young person who's starting off playing sports, consider getting my book, The Engineers of Western New York Basketball Story Part 1, Innocent Basketball Dreams. For my YouTube subs, I'm selling the hardcover for $27 and the paperback for $22. And if you just use one of those methods in the ticker, the way John from State College did, John Morris, thank you for your purchase. I have an online store if you want to use your plastic. The link is here. I'm going to enable my screen share. Steve always says, big, show them the book. Show them the book, big. So I'm doing that. So I have my own online store. The hardcover here is the price is the same as it is on Amazon. It's $35. And the paperback is $27. But I can create a coupon code for you guys. I could call it Go Blue or Maniac or Marmar or something. Please consider getting yourself a copy. It's a sports-related story about what the great game of basketball taught me and other kids from my area, Western New York, about what the game taught us about life. Coach Harbaugh comes up in there as I was watching the NFL at that time. He was an Indianapolis. No, he was a Bear, and then he became an Indianapolis Colt. The Fab Five are in there when I was in high school. That's when the Fab Five showed up on the scene there. And in the periphery, I saw winged helmets from the University of Michigan. I saw them. I saw Elvis Gerback and Desmond Howard won the Heisman in 1992 when the Fab Five burst onto the scene. A lot of that is in my book as well. So consider that as a holiday gift for someone. If you don't like stories yourself, I like stories. It's a fun story. So thank you again to John Morris from State College. I think he saw me here. Nittany Lion. Well, maybe he's a Michigan fan living in State College. All right, one more word from Sharon, and then I'm going to wrap this up because it was an early one.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is continue to look at what you're doing, how you're doing. I thought we did a good job of putting people in position, moving guys around, but we got to continue to do that. Continue to challenge the O-line, continue to challenge everybody in the rooms. It's not just one position, right? It's everybody. So we'll all do it together and fix it.
Sharon also said something about speed and space. Shout out to Josh Gaddis in that press conference.
Yeah, I mean, you go back to last week, thought tackling was outstanding. And, one of the things we really hit on beginning of the week was speed and space, tackling their speed and space. We didn't do a good job of that. And then,
but unlike Josh Gaddis, he was talking about defense. All right, everybody. It was an early one. So, yeah, go blue. Whatever it is you did last week, do it again up in East Lansing. Protect Bryce and put those little green men away early. So, everybody, go blue. As always, remember that your attitude determines your altitude. Always try to do your best. And I will talk to you all again soon. Go blue.